Hi guys, Toge here with a new video. I wanted to talk about Dragonflight and Warlock Classic. I think the title gives away a bit, but before we start, please like the video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you love PvP content. This video will be scripted since I wanted to put my thoughts at the right place and explain you, the viewer, why I'm actually more excited for Warlock Classic than for Dragonflight as a whole. I know it is not a competition and both can be played and will be extensively played by me, but I wanted to explain why I'm more excited for Warlock Classic gameplay wise. Because content, Dragonflight is really great. But gameplay wise, I would still say that Warlock Classic is just ahead above Dragonflight. First, I want to say that it doesn't take away anything of what the devs are trying to do with Dragonflight. I think they are taking massive steps at the right direction. Ranked solo shuffle, gearing changes that makes that you as a character with full conquest gear will be able to compete with the same gear as, let's say, a glad. So you have no upgrades anymore. You have either a honor gear or a conquest gear. I feel like there's also a world PvP gear out there, like a tier set. Talent tree is coming back with a lot of customization and builds that you can actually play around. So you really can change your playstyle however you want. And that's actually also very nice. I feel like it is going to be more diverse than Wrath of the Lich King. So by that itself is very great for Dragonflight. And you also you have no more endless time wasting grinds to do and to get into PvP. They are working for it and they are succeeding by doing so. But Dragonflight still has a huge problem with how the damage is dealt throughout the match or how the kits are working in BGs, arenas, or just PvP as a whole. They are improving on it. You just have to compare it to BFA and Shadowlands to know they are doing better, but it is still not enough to make your whole kit feel complete. I'm sure you actually all saw the videos from Venruki or the Asmon videos whenever they are reacting on the Venruki videos, and what he says is actually right. Damage is more satisfying in Wrath because every action you are pressing in PvP is super meaningful. Many classes just don't feel great and feel like straight downgrades from Wotlk. In Dragonflight, I'm going to give the example of an affliction warlock. In Dragonflight, or now currently in Shadowlands, corruption does no damage compared to Wrath. In Wotlk, corruption is not just a way to amplify your other spells, like for example Malefic Rupture does in Shadowlands. It by itself is a menace towards the player. You know that if it hits, it is meaningful and your health is visually dropping. The thing is, it is not something Dragonflight or Shadowlands can immediately fix because it is not possible to fix with only damage numbers. You're not going to throw Fire Blast to do actually 10% more damage. That's not possible because not 10% more damage, but I mean 10% of the max HP of a player because it's not sustainable for healers. All the kits, defense, offense, spells, everything needs to be touched in Dragonflight to make it feel like Wrath. In Wrath, yes, a corruption can do a lot of damage, but you have defensive CDs, you have healers that can keep up, you have also a lot less CC to worry about, a lot less mobility to worry about, so it is possible to kite a DK, for example, it is possible to kite a warrior, it is possible to kite a paladin. Actually, it is possible to kite a paladin throughout every expansion, but that's not the point. That's not the point, right? But really, it is not only the damage that feels nice, it just feels less frustrating to play against or with someone. You're not only waiting for the CC at the right time to be able to kill someone. In Shadowlands or Dragonflight, if you give the same kind of damage as Wrath, it will just be unhealable for healers because you can't get away from damage as easily, since everything has crazy mobility or you will get CC'd by everyone and everything. In Shadowlands, everyone can CC somewhat decently and also have an interrupt or silence. In Wrath, I'm going to give you a few examples on what the classes have as a whole in their kit. Paladins, they don't have a silence, they don't have an interrupt. They do have a stun and they do have an incap. They also have an anti-speed spell that you, like for example the Judgment of Justice, slows you actually down to 100% movement speed. So if you're sprinting or if you're a feral, like a feral druid and you're a cat form, whatever, you're going to still be at 100% movement speed. Shamans, they have Hex and an interrupt, but they don't have a stun, and they do have a knockback if they are elemental shaman, but they don't have a magic removal, for example, so they cannot remove a stun from a paladin. So you see that they are like specific things that are actually balanced with each other. Okay, it will be a little bit more frustrating in straight 1v1s, but that's why it's a 3v3 game or a 2v2 or a BG game, so you can rely on other people to apply the CC for you to actually do damage. You cannot do everything by yourself, for example. Hunters have a silence only as a marksmanship hunter. They need to use traps effectively to soft CC someone. You don't have a binding shot, you don't have intimidation stun from, let's say in Dragonflight you can have that, for example. You can have a stun as a marksmanship hunter. You have less CC possible, but you have great damage, you have great kiting possibilities, and you are somewhat decent at tanking damage from physical damage dealers, I would say. Although in Wrath it just feels like your paper, because it is what it is, but at least you're not like giving the healer the impression that they are not able to heal you if you are focused. So that's pretty much it. DK don't have root breaks, nor movement speed increases with a press of a button. There is no depth advance, there is no anti-root, there is no double grip. That all those things are not available for DKs, but they do have a stun, they do have a silence, they do have a pet stun. Excuse me, they do have a pet stun as unholy. They do have a strangulate. They do have a freezing ability if they are frost. They have a lot of great things going on, right? But they are also balanced that way. So it means that if you are not able to stun because you're not unholy, then shit out of luck. You need someone else to stun for you, right? Mages have CC and great damage. Finally, a fire mage can actually kill someone outside of combustion, but they die because if they are caught, they don't have 1 trillion shields, they don't have double blink, they are really built like glass cannons, and it also feels more right for them to build like this because they can actually do a lot of damage then. It is balanced that way. Rogues have CC and the damage, but again, glass cannons, if they are caught by a warrior, they're going to die. If the classes have a breather versus rogues, they are also able to be kited. They also are not going to stealth and go back with 100% HP because that's not possible. They will die to dots if you don't have a cloak of shadows and you're trying to re-stealth and you have a corruption on yourself. Shit out of luck, you're going to die or you're going to have to fight without stealth. So that's why Shadow Dance is quite nice as subtlety, for example. In Shadowlands, you will never be top damage as a rogue in a BG, but in Wrath of the Lich King this is possible. How many BGs I have already played in pre-patch with rogues being top 1 damage dealers? It does happen. Is it rare? Of course, because again, it's a stealther. People are also more stealth. People are also more likely to not take part in every fight. But it is possible to deal enough damage to be top damage as a rogue, and that's not possible in Shadowlands, for example. Warriors, let's talk about warriors. They have stance dancing, they have great buttons to press, but they will have to equip a shield if they want to reflect, or if they want to do a shield wall, or if they want to stun. It's not possible as arms. You will go to protection if you want to have a stun. There are maybe the exception, druids for example, because they don't have an easy interrupt, but they do have it if they are charging it with bear forms. You're charging onto a player, it will interrupt their cast, but it's not as easily accessible as, let's say, in Shadowlands, where you just press a button and it will interrupt for you. Or balance druids, they don't have a silence, they don't have root beam, for example. Of course, they still have cyclone. That's something they still have. Priests, this can do a lot of damage. They do somewhat good damage, but they're not going to use penance for damage. They are going to use penance to actually heal, and it does feel great. Of course, in Shadowlands, I feel like this is also a very fun class, and it just feels like two different specs, but still, in Wotlk, it does work like this, and feels also great how it works like this. Shadow Priests have CC and great damage, but they are not built to be a support, for example. They can kill by themselves someone in 1v1 or in 1v2 or whatever, but if they are getting caught and they are a glass cannon, they are going to die directly if they are not going for dispersion at the right time, for example. Warlocks, they have the CC, they have the damage, but they don't have a portal, they have only a TP, they don't have soul shape, they don't have many things to actually improve their movement speed. But if they are getting caught, they are going to die, because again, it is still a glass cannon class. Even though they are the most tanky caster in the game, they're still going to die if you're going to have uptime on them. And it's also a little bit more easy for them to cast spells, because you have a lot less interrupts to deal with. A retribution paladin warrior with, let's say, a disc priest or whatever healer they are accompanied with, they only have one interrupt, which is the warrior. Of course, they can have a second one with shield bash, but whatever, you're right. So the comps will have to deal with multiple classes at different ways, in different ways, right? And that's why I think it is fun to play Wrath of the Lich King. I don't know if I forgot about a class really, because I've written it down, but really I don't really know if I'm used every example possible. Like, for example, in Enhancement Shaman, their Feral Spirits actually is a menace. They have a stun, actually. My bad. Shamans have a stun through Feral Spirits. But again, it's a 3-minute CD. You're not going to get stunned every time, right? It's a 45-second CD for Feral Spirits. But since the Feral Spirits only last for 45 seconds, it's a 3-minute CD on a stun, right? I mean, it's balanced that way, and Enhancement Shaman is one of those classes that really, they are using the stun for something else, right? They are not only doing the stun to do damage, but it's also peeling for themselves or peeling for the healer, or it's not only the setup, right? So it's balanced that way. So the fact that not every class has an interrupt or a silence by itself or a convenient stun or an easy access to CC, which makes that dealing big damage is actually more acceptable, because you will have time as a healer to react on said damage or even prevent it, right? Is Wotlk the best balancing game, like expansion wise? No, not really. I feel like it's not the most balanced expansion of that, but balancing is not everything. Again, I'm going to give you an example about League of Legends. I didn't really write it down, but now it came up. In League of Legends, you have tier lists. You have champions that are D tier, F tier. They are bad. They are bad. But you have champions, a lot of champions that are S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier even. They are usable. They are all playable. You can master them. You can make it feel good. It doesn't matter that some class, some champion is OP or God mode or whatever. It just matters that the gameplay is fun. If I'm Shaco main, for example, Shaco is a jungler in League of Legends. If there is like a patch where they are bad, it doesn't matter, because the kit is very fun. I'm still going to play Shaco, or maybe it's going to be unplayable because it is going to be nerfed to the ground, for example. But the gameplay itself is fun. And that's what is important. It's not only the pure balancing, because that's never going to be achieved. No expansion, no game has pure balance. Maybe chess, and it's not even a video game. Even FIFA is not balanced, because again, Messi is 10,000 times better than, let's say, I don't know, Lacazette, for example. You have tier lists in every game. You have a meta in every game. But that doesn't matter as long as the gameplay itself, as long as the fun itself is available, it is enough. The feeling of playing a great class with a great spec and knowing that pressing, for example, Icy Touch does alright damage, right? It is not only a filler, it also helps you to put a dot, it helps you to put a debuff, it helps you to do damage from range, it helps you to build something towards your end objective, right? Killing that said player. Or having a fire mage actually being able to kill outside of combust goes, like doing great damage, doing pyroblast, doing 4k crits on something that procs on you, right? That procs every time you're critting, so you're going to build crits on said character. You want as much crits as possible so you can have having as much hot streaks as possible. That itself is fun. Or arcane mages doing arcane blasts and actually doing damage, and your arcane barrage is not only a finisher, but it's something that you want to press all the time. Like, it is just more fun gameplay wise. Or even having a retry paladin. I play a red paladin in Wotlk Classic also. Being able to kill and pressure someone without using wings, without having a proc of a wing, is incredible. Because in Shadowlands you don't have that. How the hell are you going to kill someone outside of wings or the proc from the wings or CDs, right? You're not going to kill someone. And something that actually is that they need to think about. If you're pressing wings in Wrath of the Lich King, you're ruling out immunities on yourself. You will not be able to Divine Shield yourself. You will not be able to bop yourself. So actually, you are screwed if you're not killing someone with wings. Wings is like your ultimate ability, but also your ultimate death if not used correctly. And that's something that is actually interesting, actually something you're always thinking about whenever you're playing. And I think the main problem we have with Shadowlands and Dragonflight, it is not fixable. You cannot fix anything I'm saying right now, and Venruki cannot fix anything he's saying right now. Asmongold, I cannot even speak anymore, guys. They cannot fix anything, because all the things that I said cannot be fixed with a blink of an eye or numbers, because that's not enough. Numbers are not enough to change the feeling of the game, because you can give more damage, but how the hell can healers heal that? It's already crazy TTK wise. Time to kill in Shadowlands and Dragonflight is as fast as Wrath of the Lich King. You see the problem? It is as fast, but it doesn't feel as right damage-wise, because you're pressing a few abilities and a few CDs, while in Wrath of the Lich King, an Arms Warrior can charge on you, Mortal Strike, Whirlwind, and then Bladestorm. Bladestorm is a small CD, really, and kill you. While if you do the same in Shadowlands, Mortal Strike, Whirlwind, you won't have even a rage for that, and then Bladestorm, you're going to be like, the enemy is going to laugh at you. He's going to be able to heal through it. The problem is the modifiers. They are going to do Avatar, they are going to do recklessness if they are Fury, they are going to do all those macros that they can do to actually one-shot you, and your healer will not be able to heal because they will get CC'd by a Stormbolt, they will get feared, they will get interrupted by class number 3 in Arena. Like, you need to understand that balancing is not only the numbers, it's not only the feeling on every spell, it is also the kit. I'm not saying you need to remove everything, because it's frankly not possible. I'm going to explain why. We are also bonking on the fact that with Mythic Plus, Mythic rating and such, you can't remove those things, because it will make them a lot less desirable, a lot less fun, and it will break the game in multiple sections, which will be disastrous for retail. And that's why they can't balance the numbers like on Wotlk Classic. That is also why the videos from Venruki or anyone else, even me, won't be taken into account, since really it is not possible for current game to grow into something it was in the past. You can't add more damage on more abilities without removing the mobility and CC creep in the game. So for now, I'm more excited for Wotlk Classic for these specific reasons. The thing is, it doesn't make me less excited for Dragonflight. It will just feel like another game. It will be a straight upgrade from Shadowlands, and chances are I will play more Dragonflight than Wotlk because it is just straight better content and better discovery of said content. Everything has been discovered on Wotlk. Really, you could come up with crazy builds or stats or whatever, but really, everything has already been tested on private servers because people were already playing Wotlk for a decade. And as a content creator, and also for my passion for discovering new ways to play the game, I will be super excited for Dragonflight as a whole. But gameplay wise, I think Wotlk Classic will just be better for now. So thank you for watching this video. I know it's not the easiest content to digest, but I wanted to talk about this subject with all of you. Make sure to comment below what you think about the video, but also what you think about Wotlk Classic and Dragonflight. Will you play both or not? Be sure to let me know it. I'll respond to you, and of course, yeah, we will catch each other very soon. Be sure to stay safe, and we will be excited with Wotlk Classic and Dragonflight. But I'll catch you next with a next video tomorrow. Bye, and yeah, stay safe. Ciao.